everybody, welcome to Embellish the Story. It's Tammy, and I want to thank you for joining me today, and welcome back if you've been with me before, and thank you for all your sweet comments. And I've just turned on the camera because I've been wanting to play with a vintage wedding dress that I bought at a thrift store, and I've got a part of the sleeve laid out. I was cutting on it, just trying to decide what I want to do. Isn't that just a beautiful sleeve? The bodice was solid this lace, and I cut the sleeve, and my granddaughter was watching me cut it, and she said, "Gimme, don't do that." And it is so hard to cut these beautiful gowns. It really is. It's somebody's special dress. And it reminds me a lot of the material on my dress, because this is the type, I love this material. So I wanted to play with it. I did cut it. I just cut the sleeve. That's it. That's all I could cut off so far. And I have a vintage piece of a veil of another wedding veil that I found at this same thrift store. So I wanted to play with this today. I don't know if this is, we could make it, we could call it a tag, we could call it a journaling card. But I saw something on Chrissie Crosser's video that I really want to do, and I think I finally figured out how to do it, because she sews, and she sews beautifully. So I don't. So I had to kind of work around that. So what I'm going to do is I've just got about a 4x6 piece of paper I cut, and I just put a book page on it. And I'm going to use this Pretty Woman. These digitals are from Ruby and Pearl. Isn't she pretty? She is so elegant. So I think I'm going to just, ooh, well, that's fine. That's the good thing about junk journaling, isn't it? If we rip something, it's like, oh, well, that's fine. So we're just going to distress this a little bit. There's probably a better way, but I just kind of I'm just going to rough it up, make it look like it's been in somebody's trunk or whatever. Just gonna kind of, and I'll ink it right quick. Y'all, I really just turned on my video. Usually I have a hard time videoing if my craft space isn't really neat. But my mom and I are going to the movies not too long. So I'm just turning on the camera today. And I'm just going to put her down. I'm going to rough her up a little bit. I'm going to rough her up just a tiny bit more. Come on. You're so pretty. I got these from Ruby and Pearl, and I should have checked back to see what the name of this kit's called, but I didn't. So I'm just going to, I'll leave the link to Ruby and Pearl's shop. She's got really, really pretty digitals. And I think it's called like Vintage Ladies or something of that nature. I bought it a while back. I've used them on other projects. Really, really pretty. Really, really pretty images. Okay. So it says her name is Miss Lily Elsie. Isn't that sweet? Okay. So this little top I'm going to do, we'll just see if I pull this off. I saw a tag done like this on one of Chrissie Crosser's videos, and it's been a few months. And I played with it, and I'll show you at the very end where I played trying to get this process down. But she sews like a dream. And we all know I don't sew. So I had to come up with something to get the look, because what it is a look that's like this, where you just have this beautiful, elegant, gathered tulle at the top. So this, I've used just regular tulle, but this has a little more substance to it. And so I thought it would be easier for you to see it. But you can use regular tulle, and I can show you one where I've done that. But the easiest way I found without sewing, if you sew, it might be a lot easier. I don't know, because I don't sew. but this is about 3 inches, and the size, there is a sweet spot with the size, because the bigger the piece of tulle, the more I had to gather without sewing, which was hard. So I'm going to take, it's about 3 inches wide and about 8 inches long. So, and I just cut it very haphazardly. I'm just going to gather it, and I'm going to tie it with another little tiny piece of tulle. Let me make sure I'm in frame, y'all. Okay, I hope I am. So I'm just going to gather this and tie it with another tiny piece. And this piece does not matter. It's just a utility piece. It's really just holding it. It's really, really just a necessity. So that gives me my gathers. So now I've got one side gathered, and I really don't even care for that. I'm going to try to tuck that underneath. All right. So I want that to be in one corner, and then I'll have this in the other corner. It's just going to come across like that. So what I found, and so why I use the narrower, like only about 3 inches, is because the wider the tulle got, the more I had to make it gather without sewing it. So the easiest thing I found is to use a glue stick first, because it'll hold it somewhat, and then I have to go back and finish it, because if you stitch it, you've got this gorgeous stitching. Now the glue stick will hold it a little bit, enough for me to work with it. So I'm gonna just let the glue stick kind of do its thing. All right. And it really depends on where your image is. I think this is very elegant, and I'll leave the link to Chrissie's video. Y'all, I'm really taken with her. She just is so good at what she does. All right, so that is just kind of gathered there, and I'm so fancy, y'all. I'm so fancy. While I work on the rest of the tag, I'm just going to let these plastic paper clips, I'm sure I got these at the Dollar Tree, I'm going to let them hold the gathers for just a minute. I could sit here and hold it, but I have no patience for that. This requires the thing in my craft room that is the most scarce, which is patience. So I'm going to let those paper clips hold that. I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to glue this corner down right where I tied it. I'm going to put that right in the corner. I'm going to glue that down. And then I'm going to clip that. So I'm just going to let that dry while I work on the bottom. So that's how I did that. I tried it. I've played with this for a while. I'll show you where I've played. But anyway, so now the fun easy part that doesn't take as much patience. I've already cut some pieces off the sleeve of this. So I want to do the bottom, and I was thinking maybe a piece of this. This is the a piece I cut off the edge. This is the sleeve where it, you know, her arm came out here. I cut that off, and that is really pretty down there. It's just super bulky. So I might try to reduce the bulk a little bit. This is a piece of chiffon silk. So if I take this, and then I've got some more of this veil here, another piece of this veil, I'm just going to kind of twist them around each other and put them down. Just kind of scrunch them up and put them down. So let's see how that goes. I hope y'all are getting sometimes to do some things you enjoy, whether that be crafting or spending time with your family or just whatever, you know, wherever your sweet spot is. Okay, I just twisted these around each other was all I did. And I'm just gonna put them down. I want this to show more. So all I did was just twist those two pieces around each other, and I didn't really worry about how it fell. I just covered up her name. I like that part of the digital. Oh, okay, let's see. I'm gonna cut some of, I need my better scissors. I'll cut some of this off so it's not quite so wide. I'm just gonna pull it. I don't really care for that really raw edge once you cut it. This is got some, it's like the lace with the tulle, but I know that's where they beaded it, and I'm not gonna cut it. So I think I want to do that. I have some buttons that came off an old wedding gown. I could. Oh, that's just. I kind of like that, y'all. I kind of like that just bunched up in there. That's really neat. The thing is, this button, we'll see if I might, if it seems like that's metal. Wait. Oh, I cut it. Okay, so I cut that little piece off that button. Yay! Okay. That makes it a little less. Okay. I'm just going to put that button down right there. I put a little too much glue. Of course, I can't find my paper towel. I'm just going to hold that. Scoot it over a little bit. So all I did was just twisted a piece of tulle and a piece of silk for the bottom and put a button there. Okay. All right, so this needs to dry. My paper clips, not paper clips, my clothespins weren't all tied up. I would clip this too. Let's see if this is dry. I'll move this right here. Let that hold. Okay. That's how I craft, y'all, because I'm so impatient. All right, so that's glued down pretty good. And I think I'm going to use this wedding dress, y'all. Yeah, let's see. Here is one of these flowers. And I like that there. Let's see, do I have a smaller? I have this piece here. I like this flower. I think I'm going to just trim a tiny bit off it here, right here. Pull it. Come on. Do we want just that part, or do we want that hanging down? I kind of like that hanging down there. I think I'll just give it a little bit of more of a point. There's actually 2 layers under here. I could kind of capitalize on that. Pull one out a little bit. Okay, I think I'm going to put that right there. So I'm just going to cover up that. I really don't have to. I've got one where I just put a pearl. I think I'm going to just pop this here. I don't want it to cover her up, so I've got to be careful with that. All right. And then let's see if this is dry enough. Okay, that's pretty dry. So when I do this, now I've got this raw edge. I'm going to trim that a bit. And now I've got this raw edge that I'm not overly crazy about. Oops. So what I'm going to do is, that's dry enough, is I'm going to put some pearls right here to just kind of cover that really raw edge. You could use, I think, like if I had a tiny, tiny trim, like here's one, here's a tiny, tiny trim. That's pretty there. Actually, I like that better than the pearls, I think. What do y'all like? Here's the tiny trim. Here's the pearls. I don't know. I think I'll use the pearls. Since I've got pearls here, I'm going to use the pearls. And I'm just going to put that here so the edge doesn't show. That's where the pretty stitching would be if I sewed. So I think I'll use this tacky glue. Put my pearls down. I really do wish I sewed. All right. And then I'm just going to trim right there. And I think that's a really, really elegant top to this tag. Honestly, I'm going to take that off. It's really pretty like that with just a button or something there. I just added that. All right. I could add a piece of this down here. You know, I want to. This was the whole point, was to use this dress today. I think I'm going to pop that in there. See if I can scooch it under. Let's see what I can do here. Come on. Oh, this is how I craft. I kind of don't have a plan. I just kind of sit down and start playing sometimes. I usually don't let y'all see that, but you're not going to see me do much if you don't see that, because that's what I usually do. All right. Pretty, 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 pretty. So I don't know if this, is this a tag? Is this a card? I don't know. I'll figure out what I'm going to call it. You know, you always have to name your videos. I'm like, what am I going to name this? So I'm going to clamp my button. It needs a little help. All right. So I'm going to let that dry for a few minutes. Okay, while we're waiting for that to dry, I'll show y'all these tags I did while I was trying to see the best way to get that look of Chrissie's that I like so much. So this one I did, and I used, I'll tell you what I didn't like about this. I used too much tulle, so it was very hard to gather this. So my strip of tulle was probably more like 5 inches or so with this one. So that one was a little frustrating, and I had not figured out, to tie it first. So I gathered both, and that was a lot of gluing and a lot of patience. But anyway, it turned out pretty in the end. I just kept working with it. But this is another, this is a Ruby and Pearl Digital This is from the same kit. All three of these ladies are from the same digital kit. This one, I had figured out to tie it by then, but I still thought the piece was too wide. It turns out fine. It's just how aggravating it is to work on it. Is what it is. So I like this one too. So this one turned out really pretty. And then this is the first one I made. I made it at the bottom. This is done not with wedding veil. This is just done with a piece of tulle like you would get at Michael's. And it was thin enough. I did it at the bottom. And this is a Sam Poole digital. So these were the ones I made playing around, trying to figure out the easiest way to get this look I wanted. So let's check the one we made together. Anyway, I think they're all really pretty. I'm really excited about all of them. So this has been drying. I changed clothes while it was drying to get ready to go to the movies. All right. Yeah, I think it's really pretty. Let's see. A little button. Good. It's decided it wants to stay down. So that's how that turned out. We made it together. I think this is a really elegant look. So I'm going to call this, you want to call it a journaling card? We'll call it a journaling card. How's that? Since we didn't cut it like a tag. It doesn't really matter, does it? It's pretty. That's all that matters. So thank y'all for joining me today. I'm going to be doing a live, well, if everything pans out, with Nicola at My Shabby Craft Corner soon. So I will be letting y'all know more details about that. We haven't worked it all out, and I've never done a live, so I'm kind of, I'm a little scared. So I'll be telling y'all about that soon. But thanks for joining me to make this pretty little, we'll call it a card, tag, whatever. And I hope you have some time to just do something that makes you happy today. And always remember to embellish the story. And I will see you soon. Bye-bye.